Happy New Year, guys. It's me, Shamika, and I'm back. Today, I would like to show you how I make my meat sauce for my spaghetti, for my lasagna, for my baked ziti, or in some areas, baked mascacholi. In the pan, I have a pound of Angus beef. I also will be browning with that Italian mild sausage. You're going to see me slice the casing of the sausage open. We want to remove that casing and just use the sausage meat. We're going to we're going to chop both of those up together, and we're also going to drain off some of that oil, probably about 85 to 90% of the oil. You do want to leave some of that fat in the skillet because that's going to help flavor build on top of flavor. And I'm using Angus beef, but it can be ground beef, it can be ground chuck. Um, I feel that all ground beef needs some fat to it. You just don't want to use all of it. So here I'm just adding the Italian sausage that I have removed from the casing. In the pan, there was also a little bit of avocado oil, but obviously you don't have to add any oil to the pot. Because I tried to make this a one pot meal, I usually will saute my garlic with the oil, but I just went ahead and added the meat first. So here we're about 90% done. I'm getting ready to drain off that oil. Here we have the drained meat. And as you can see, I did leave some still in the pot or in the skillet. To that, I will add a handful of fresh garlic cloves. You can use minced garlic. You can also rough chop your fresh garlic. But as long as I cook my meat sauce down for, the garlic cloves do become soft if I do choose to leave them whole. To this meat, I'm going to also add one large onion, sliced or diced, doesn't really matter. And then also I have chopped a half of a green bell pepper. You can either use half or a very small bell pepper, green bell pepper. We just want some of that flavor. We don't want it to totally take over the pasta sauce. I have also chopped up red, yellow, and orange bell peppers for the sweetness that they have. I'm going to also add some garlic powder along with some roasted garlic powder. As you can see, I like garlic for certain dishes. A dash of chili powder along with some smoked paprika. Every seasoning that I'm adding, you can start off with about a tablespoon, except the chili powder and the cayenne. I would just do a dash, and you can always add at the end. I just added cayenne, a dash of that. I'm going to also add a heaping tablespoon of better than bouillon. You can add it straight to your dish as I am doing right now, or you can dilute it in about a 1/4 cup of water. Mix it and then add it to your meat mixture. Either way, it'll dissolve. Here, our vegetables have slightly started to become translucent or soft. To this, I will add one big jar of jarred pasta sauce. The way I make my sauce, a lot of people are quite surprised that I use a jar sauce because there's so much that I add to it. Trust me, guys, I like to jazz up jarred pasta sauce, but you could totally skip the jarred pasta sauce and add tomato sauce along with the can of fire roasted diced tomatoes that I'm adding now, along with a can of tomato paste. and you'll have a real homemade pasta sauce. But hey, I had a jar of pasta sauce and I figured why not go ahead and use that up. And this pasta sauce is so good. You can use this meat sauce for spaghetti, for lasagna, for mascacholi or baked ziti in some areas. Tomato, tomato. Here I'm just adding the tomato paste. And I usually cook my meat sauce down for about an hour. I like those flavors to really become infused with one another and that tomato paste to really break down and, become one with the sauce itself. As you can see, where you can see all the meat, you can see the vegetables clearly right now. But by the time I get done with this, everything will then have come together and it'll still be chunky and hearty, but definitely flavorful. I'm going to go ahead and add a dash of complete seasoning. I'm also adding 1 bay leaf along with some Italian seasoning. I'm sorry, you guys, I was jamming to my Pandora conjunction function station and I didn't realize that the majority of the items of the seasonings you could not see. I do apologize. So we're just building flavor on top of flavor right now. And I will put a lid on this because pasta sauce will pop all over the place. And if you have white cabinets or a white backsplash like myself, you don't want that. Here I have roasted some sliced eggplant and zucchini on 375 for about 10 to 15 minutes to draw out the moisture. I've removed the bay leaf from the sauce. Right here, the sauce has cooked for probably about 30 minutes or so with a lid. And this is just the first part of those flavors coming together. And yes, guys, I do add sugar to my meat sauce. It's totally optional. With the flavors that I've shown you previously to the sugar, you'll still have a great sauce. However, I personally feel that sugar helps to balance the flavors and helps to take some of that acidity out of the tomatoes. And here I added about 3 tablespoons or so of sugar, but I also had a lot of sauce. So if you're making maybe half of the pan of sauce that I am making, start off with a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half, and then you can judge it from there if you feel you need to add a little more. And also keep in mind, we will cook this for another 20 minutes or so, 20-30 minutes to allow that sugar to break down within the sauce as well. And I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You have to add the sugar, you guys. Don't judge me. If you know, then you know. And here, the sauce has cooked for maybe like 10 minutes before I realized I didn't add the half a teaspoon of black pepper. Here we go. I'm adding that now. We're going to stir that in as well. And there is so much flavor in this pot, you guys. And with the better than bouillon being added, it just gives it a heartier flavor. It also adds the salt content that you need as well. And I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on this and allow it to cook for another 15 minutes. Like I said, about an hour is the time frame that I can my meat sauce. Here I have a bowl of 2 blocks of softened cream cheese. I've added some garlic powder, some Italian seasoning that may have been in it, and I just mixed it well. We're going to add that throughout the layers of my eggplant and zucchini lasagna. And as I mentioned earlier, the zucchini, especially, if you use zucchini or squash, you want to roast them or bake them for about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 at the most, just to draw some of that moisture out. Because if you've had a vegetable lasagna, you know, with those particular type of vegetables that have a lot of water content, it can make your dish very watery after it has baked if you don't draw the moisture out prior to. So here we're just going to layer this like a regular lasagna. Instead of noodles, we are using eggplant. Like I said, that has been roasted at 375, no foil, no covering on it. 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes, we'll say, along with the zucchini as well. And then you're going to bake the lasagna for about 30-40 minutes or so. Everyone's oven varies at 375 as well, you know, because everything that we are putting in this dish that we may have to worry about if it's safe has already been cooked. Your meat sauce is cooked. Your vegetables, obviously, you can eat those raw, but they also have been previously cooked because we roasted them. You know, so we're good to go. And then we're just adding cheeses as well. And also at the end of the video, you'll see I took the remaining of my meat sauce and I made spaghetti as well and topped it with a glass of wine. You can pair this with a side salad or some garlic bread or both. It's definitely hearty enough to have on its own. I really appreciate you guys coming through and watching my videos, you guys. I hope to continue to bring more videos to you. I would love to grow my channel this year. I just really appreciate all the love. I've had people find me on my social media of Instagram at Homemade Goodness 35. I'm sorry, Homemade Goodness. I took the 35 off, and they tell me how they like how my food looks, or they've even tried some of my recipes from my YouTube channel and they loved it. I really appreciate the love. And so with that being said, I would love for you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. Share my videos. Tell someone about what we're doing over here. And hey, even leave me a comment and let me know a meal that you would like for me to make. I drizzled some garlic infused olive oil over that lasagna. I baked it. Here's the spaghetti that I used the remaining of that meat sauce. Don't judge my lasagna. I walked away and left it in 2 minutes too long. Bye, guys.